I'm Gorilla Monsoon.
I'm Bobby the Brain Heenan.
And I have no idea what the hell we're doing here.
Does he ever?
Gene, we're recording a promo for a podcast.
What the hell is that?
It's a show where...
Promo, that's where you hype something.
Why don't you be serious?
He asked.
Oh, Heenan, damn it, I know what a promo is. What the hell is a podcast?
It's a show where people, they talk into microphones, usually from their house.
Naked, too.
Stop it.
So, why do they do that?
I'm not sure, really.
Definitely not for the money.
Oh.
You better believe it.
So, what's this one called?
Let me see. The Hot Tag Podcast.
Whoopee. Does anyone listen to this?
Well, I don't know. I'm sure
The government is testing it as an alternative to the chair.
Will you stop that? That's not nice.
Oh.
It's illegal in 11 states.
Quiet. And welcome to the Hot Tag Podcast.
They're not really naked, are they?
I certainly hope not.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Hot Tag Wrestling Show. I am your host, Chris Francesco, joined by George Harley Race Rogers. George, what's going on, man? How are you?
What's your finish, kid?
The spear.
I'll move.
Well, you know who won't be moving from a spear at Saturday night's main event? That would be Sir Gunther.
Yes, you mentioned this nonsense in Gorilla, and I'm all a quiver to know where you came with this one.
So,
not that you pulled out of your ass, but I'm just curious where.
So I'm going to be fair. I didn't come up with it. I just read it and counted 4 different places, 4 different sources, and then I texted somebody that I know, and I asked if that was a plan, and they replied with a sad face, which tells me that the plan, that to me it's legit. And that is, the report is that Goldberg will succeed at Saturday night's main event by pinning Gunther as of right now. Plans change, pal. And that immediately following that, that will be probably when you see Braun Breaker come out and give his own spear to the man Goldberg, which would probably then lead to a curb stomp and a Money in the Bank cash in for Seth Rollins. I guess if you're gonna, be as a heel of a faction as you can be, I guess that generates some heat, right? I mean, it's
not really though. That's
really
what kind of heat are you going to get from cashing on old ass Goldberg? The dude barely even made it to the fucking ring on Monday night.
I mean, how else are they going to get heat?
Well, if they go with what I said, what I think they should do is I think they should do Seth's cash in at Night of Champions, have him do what he did at WrestleMania 31, insert himself into the match halfway through, and then get the pin on CM Punk,
right?
Because it'll further their feud more. Which, I mean, and obviously they're going to feud forever, like Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, and I have no issue with that because these guys are going to give you a show every time they get in the ring. So I got no problem with that at all, and it gives another level to them, kind of like with the Bloodline. When the Bloodline starts getting stale, they would do something else, and it gets you back in. So with Punk Rollins, if it's starting to feel a little flat, this will inject a shot of adrenaline. Plus, if you're eventually going to do Rollins and Reigns, you want that belt to be the jewel because that's the belt that Reigns is going to want. He's not going to want the World Heavyweight title. A guy I work with, Daniel, he made a joke, but he's like, yeah, Reigns isn't going to want a no pop title.
I guess I hear you and I love the idea. I think it's great. I mean, I'm sure at Night of Champions, the fan base would love to see a triple threat, but I'm going to raise you one by saying it's not really heelish to insert yourself into a triple threat where you don't have to be pinned to lose the match or the cash in. So I guess they want to try to find the easiest way possible to get the title onto Rollins and then get moving towards SummerSlam. That's my assumption. But I mean, obviously from a fan perspective, as in me, George, your idea is the one I would like to see the most. That's what I would like to see, now that I see that the Goldberg and Gunther match is even happening, I truly believe, I think we're going to see one of those Goldberg Brock Lesnar finishes where I think the match is going to end in about 50 seconds. He's going to catch Gunther with a spear. I guess try a jackhammer. He could probably get Gunther up with Gunther's help. But and then I think it's just going to go right into the cash in because I just don't think Goldberg can do anything.
Do you have Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed come out and soften Goldberg up first?
Yeah, like I said, I think Braun comes out and shows off his spear to Goldberg. So I think that's probably something that you see.
And then maybe Goldberg can show Braun had to throw some working punches.
And maybe a sidekick and end Braun's career like he did Hitman Hart. But I just feel like the second that this match was actually going to happen, seeing how Goldberg walked to the ring or not very well, I mean, because he's gone on record in the last 3 months that he needs 2 new knees. He needs a shoulder replacement. He's really banged up. I mean, what's the point of him going in there other than the entrance and having more than a 2 or 3 minute match? Because last time we seen him have to go a significant time, he almost killed The Undertaker. So it's like, dude, we got to make sure.
And that was barely even a significant time because he knocked himself out within a minute and a half when he fucking hard weighed into the turnbuckle.
I think this is a favor. I think it's a favor for Goldberg because he wanted his retirement match. I think it's a favor. And I think Triple H basically saying, look, we'll put you out there, but this is going to be quick and we're going to have Seth come in and take the title from you. So, you get to end it on a pretty big main event spotlight in a way. I just feel like that's their thinking behind it. And I could be wrong.
Hey, how happy would Brett be? Because he always considers Seth to be unsafe. So if Goldberg celebrates the time that Seth comes out, Brett's gonna be like, "Yeah, you motherfucker, you're gonna." He's like, "Yeah, the unsafe Rollins is gonna come out and give you a concussion too."
Yeah, give him the stinger. Give him that Sting side power bomb into the corner. Buckle bomb. Give him that buckle bomb there.
Fucking please.
But yeah, look, I actually thinking about it more. I would like to see just a straight CM Punk versus John Cena match. I mean, that rivalry speaks for itself. So that'd be really cool to see. You think there's any chance CM Punk wins the title?
No.
No? Okay. So that's a SummerSlam thing?
I think. I mean, I don't. I would love to see it. Absolutely, I would love to see Punk with the belt again.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't see it.
Okay. I'm actually starting to think I don't think we ever see CM Punk with the world title again, do you?
I think we might. I think he'll get a final run with either the WWF or the WWE or the World Heavyweight title. I think he'll have not a substantial run, but I think you give him a couple months that they give Jey Uso, and it'd be great. And the good thing is you won't get to hear CM Punk's dad bitch about poor booking after he loses that title after 2 months.
Right. You're right.
Like some other people's fathers who are completely crashing out on social media because reasons.
Yeah, let me kind of get into that. I didn't want to, but you brought it up, and then I want to.
Wow. No prodding at all. I made a vague reference, and you're like, "This motherfucker."
That's exactly what I did. So what I heard what Rikishi said. I saw a couple blips on YouTube about him really just the only thing I can characterize it as is whining. He was whining about Jey losing the title to Gunther. And basically he threw out some BS where, they give us a crumb and then they just, they take it away. I'm paraphrasing, but basically go find it yourself. I'm not making up the context of what he said, which was, they throw us a little bit of a bone, and then they just snatch it away from us in a month or two. And I'm thinking to myself, your family literally ran the wrestling industry for 4 straight years. Roman Reigns was a world champion for 4 years. What are you talking about? They give you an inch and then they just take it away from you. What is that? Where can you even go on the air and say that? I don't understand. I mean, look, and I get we're in an era of rage bait, clickbait. I'm going to say whatever hot take I can to make sure I get airtime and people pay attention to me. But that's embarrassing. That's the level of embarrassing, not stupidity. That's what that is. I mean, he's just a loser that just says stupid things now because he has his own platform, which is great. But dude, come on. How can you go behind a microphone and just say they give us a little bit and then they just rip it from us? Go stop it right now. Just stop.
Yeah. And it was like I told you, he's always bitching about how like Jay is booked. I know he had a short run with the Intercontinental title, and then they were going to do something with him and Rhea Ripley, and then Rikishi's like, "Oh, why are they trying to ruin Jay's marriage by having him like with Rhea Ripley? Like he's happily married. Why are they going to try and ruin that?" Meanwhile, when it comes to Jimmy Uso, this motherfucker's silent.
Yep.
He's got nothing to say about about one of his other sons in their booking.
No.
Because Jay's getting booked into Jannetty territory.
Oh, he is. We were talking about that.
And let's not forget little brother Solo Sikoa, who has just kind of been like hanging around. I mean, yeah, like he's doing his own thing, but this dude ain't had a belt ever.
Yep. I know.
It's like since he hit the main roster. Like he's just kind of there, like doing his thing. But he's got nothing to say about Solo or Jimmy. But when it comes to Jay, he won't shut the fuck up about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. Like, I'm sure every parent has their favorite. I know. And Chris, I'm sure you're the you're the apple of your dad's eye.
It depends on the day.
Yeah, that's true.
It depends if I pay the bill or not. Like if we go out to eat or something. If I'm not paying for the bill, then my third brother is like the favorite that day.
You're like Meltzer when his check doesn't clear.
That's right. That's right. Damn right it is.
But Christopher, you mentioned whining, and I'm going to go to the last thing I'm going to mention here before we jump into our review because it's worth repeating.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of whining and people who never seem to shut the fuck up on social media, Dax Harwood, maybe you know him as one half of the Revival, FTR, blah, 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 whatever you want to say. This man decided to retweet something from a site called Wrestling Banana that said WWE will never be. It said, and that tweet said WWE will never be forgiven for making fans believe that the tag team division is mid card. He retweeted that and then said, "This for years tag team." This for years, tag team wrestling was top of the card. Then one man decided he hated it. Fans eventually accepted because there was no other choice. The excuse I have to pay twice as much is bullshit. Cash and I worked over 180 matches 1 year, more than any other wrestler, and we're still the lowest paid wrestlers on the roster. Even if you doubled our pay, we're the lowest. The wrestlers as well bought into this belief. They became selfish. I wanted to, quote, hit all my moves. Tag team wrestling can be the single most exciting part of the show with the most story involved. It just takes a little bit of creativity. It is assumed that he is talking about Vince McMahon because it's been documented, Christopher, you know this, that Vince does not like tag team wrestling. He never did. However, and as he's been getting called out on such things, he goes, "When did I ever mention Vince McMahon?" Like, dude, shut up. We fucking know that's exactly who you're talking about. And tag team wrestling is not the main showcase of a wrestling event. You know what the main showcase of a wrestling event is? The fucking world champion. That's the crown jewel of the company. That's the man who's in the main event spot. Yeah, they can be in tag team matches, but for as long as I've been alive and watching wrestling, which is, you know, I'm 40 years old, been watching wrestling for about 35. At no point has the tag team division ever been on par with whoever the main event champion is at that time. Like at all. It doesn't matter who your champion is. Even like when Diesel held the belt in 95, and we all know he was weak as shit, but the tag team division was just as weak, so it's not really on par. The closest we ever really got to that was in the Attitude Era with the Dudleys, the Hardys, Edge and Christian, like Too Cool. You had these great tag teams throwing on a hell of a matches, but they're still mid-card because that's what they are. They're not on the level with Austin and Triple H and Rock. That's what I mean. It is. It's considered a mid-card title. So I don't know where the hell this guy ever saw that tag team wrestling was the main showcase, unless he's going to Dallas in the fucking 80s and watching the Von Erichs and the Freebirds go at it.
Right.
But even then, that's regional. Even if you look at the other regions, like an NWA, Horseman territory, the Horsemen were the only fucking tag team.
Yeah.
They were feuding with Dusty. And why they were feuding with Dusty? Because Flair was feuding with Dusty.
The Horseman was created. Two things were created because of Dusty Rhodes. Two things. One, they created a faction to give him baby heels to beat on and to overcome for Horseman. War Games was created for Dusty Rhodes to overcome the Horseman. Like, really, that's why the Horsemen are even a thing. It's because of Dusty Rhodes, because he needed people to go after.
Yeah. And Dusty got him over like Rover too. Like, Horsemen were huge, still highly revered.
Very.
But then even if this jerk off is going to blame like the one man that's like the one man who's against it, we all know how these companies work. They don't just look and see what Vince is doing and then go from there.
Right.
They're always trying to do the opposite. We're reviewing the Monday Night Wars. It's clear Bischoff is not doing the same thing that Vince is doing. So in that same aspect, is it just, widely across the world? Well, Vince didn't like it, so I shouldn't either. Like, we're watching where we are right now in the Monday Night Wars. The tag team champions are Lex Luger and Sting, two single stars they threw together. Meanwhile, on this roster, they've got the Road Warriors, they've got the Steiners, the Nasty Boys, Public Enemy, the American Males, Harlem Heat, the Blue Bloods. They have legitimate tag teams, but they don't hold any belts. So is it really just that one man who hates tag team wrestling, or is the fact that tag team wrestling was never actually the draw?
Look, we've said this so many times. I mean, I've even heard JR, who loves tag teams, has said before, they're just not draws.
Yeah.
People don't buy pay-per-views. People don't buy tickets to go see events to see tag teams.
And they're definitely not spending money to see FTR / the Revival. Listen, those guys are talented at what they do, but the problem is they can't talk. They can't cut a fucking promo. Their matches are not exciting because their whole gimmick is being a throwback to like the Brainbusters or like Tully and Arn.
Yeah.
Like, who gives a shit? Why is your gimmick based off of like old territory tag team? Nobody cares about that 40 years later at all. You can't have a catch as catch can gimmick if you can't fucking talk.
Right.
And we're seeing that right now. If you watch NXT, the no quarter catch crew, that's like Charlie Dempsey and them. Charlie Dempsey, I mean, he's Regal's son, so the dude can go in the ring.
Yeah.
But he can't talk. He's not good on the mic. He's very bland. He doesn't give anything off. So it's kind of, I look at them, I'm like, it's a shame they're not bigger. But at the same point, I'm like, does anybody really care about this team? Like, you got nothing, man. Like,
nope.
That doesn't work. You need to be able to talk. And if you think I'm talking out of my ass on this, Kurt Angle, Daniel Bryan, those are guys who will give you the technical match of your fucking dreams, but they'll also destroy you on the mic.
For sure.
Chris Benoit. Chris Benoit didn't talk much on the mic, but when he did and he got into the zone, the dude was good. Yeah. Like, you can't just have that, like, all fists, no flips gimmick and, just be boring in the ring.
Yeah, so I think if the Revival, I'm just going to call them the Revival. That's what I know them as. I think if they were still with the WWE right now, I don't know what they're trying to do, because I still think they would just flounder in the mid card in WWE.
Like, how are they going to look compared to like the Street Profits?
Look, I think every tag team flounders in all wrestling companies. The fact that the Street Profits weren't even on WrestleMania, that tells you, right? And like, one of the guys' wives was in the best match of the entire WrestleMania weekend, and this dude can't even get on a WrestleMania pay-per-view, and they're the tag team champions.
Like they're trying to do something with the SmackDown tag team. We're seeing actually legitimate tag team match on SmackDown. Problem is, it's not transferring over to Raw like at all. So there's no tag team. So it's like, tag teams just aren't a draw. They never really have been. There have been great tag teams like over the years, but are you going to want to watch Edge and Christian the Hardys like main event a show, and then under that in the mid card you got Austin versus Triple H?
Right.
Like there's no chance in hell to excuse that little attitude era pun there, if you will. But it's been like that across the board.
Yeah.
So to say that like tag team wrestling was always been on top, it's like, dude, you're talking out of your own ass.
I just don't know where, when tag teams were on top, house shows in the late 80s into the mid to late 90s on house shows. You know why? Because guys like Hulk Hogan wanted to be in like the middle match so they can go home in time and get to the hotel and get room service.
That's even if Hogan wanted to do that match. That's even if Hogan even wanted to show up at that event.
But like back in like the Attitude Era or right before the Attitude Era, I mean, you would see, Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker and Bret Hart and guys like them in tag matches, main eventing house shows because they're trying to get as much star power in the main event as possible. That's fine. Every house show, mostly every house show that I used to go to, the main event was a tag team match, but it was for the top stars. And it was great. You got to see four of the top stars wrestle in the main event on a house show. It was fun. It was, $25 and you got great seats and you got to see four of the biggest stars in one match. And I got to go home happy. But like when it comes to Raw, SmackDown, Dynamite, whatever, whatever Jurassic Park Rampage Collision thing that they got going on, and any WWE pay-per-view or AEW pay-per-view, dude, like tag team division will not headline a show unless it involves a top guy.
Yeah.
And it's like you said, like it's a Sting and Lex Luger, like it's a thrown together tag team. Like what was the pay-per-view in like 2007, right before WrestleMania 23 in Detroit? The tag team champions were John Cena and Shawn Michaels versus Batista and Undertaker.
Yeah, that was No Way Out. That was the pay-per-view.
No Way Out. That is how you main event. That's the only way tag team really is going to main event something big, because literally your two main events of WrestleMania are teamed up in the same ring for a match. Or
even if you look at No Way Out of Texas in '98, that was like an 8-man tag that main event the show because it had Stone Cold Steve Austin in it and like DX was involved. Like that was the storyline. But like you're not going to see, especially not in WCW.
Right.
You're not going to see Harlem Heat and the Steiners headline over Hulk Hogan and whichever fucking schlub he's going to bury to make money this week.
Right. Agreed.
That don't work for me, brother.
Great stuff there, George. Before we get started, happy 23rd birthday to TNA Wrestling. That's pretty amazing.
Congratulations to TNA.
Yeah, Triple H isn't gonna like this negative talk.
Yeah, whatever. Bill Goldberg, come say it to my face.
All right, so we are going to get started here.
Chris, real quick, within the 23 years of TNA, do you have a moment that's your favorite? Like it's been around for, I know like in the last probably 10 years have been kind of hard to find on TV. But there was some real golden era shit from like 2005 to 2009. There was some really good stuff there.
So so again, like I told everybody, I haven't told everyone this. I've just really kind of started going back in the day on YouTube and watching TNA stuff because I just didn't watch it back then. It was only WWE. Well, then again, that was all we had anyway. But TNA, I just didn't follow. So if I can name a couple things off the top of my head. Obviously the woo off between Jay Lethal and Ric Flair.
Oh, so good.
Was really cool.
Fucking good.
I would say the when Sting beat Jeff Jarrett for the I think then was maybe the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. That was really cool. Kurt Angle doing the maniacal front flip off the stage, I think onto Abyss. And then pretty much, honestly, any match between Samoa Joe and AJ Styles.
Yeah.
I've been watching their matches, and man, like AJ is. So I think AJ Styles might be the third greatest in-ring wrestler like I've ever seen. I would say HBK is number 1, Chris Benoit is number 2, and I would probably put AJ Styles, then Brett, then Angle, and that would probably round out my top 5. Yeah, you're right. Like, dude, Sting was in badass shape when he first got to TNA. Sting looked so good then. He had an amazing theme song too when he first got to TNA.
TNA themes were fucking bangers, man. Hell of a lot better than anything Def Rebel's throwing out right now.
Dude, I can go on GarageBand right now on samples and do just as good as Def Rebel. I also enjoyed, this is just probably random, but I enjoyed Chris Sabin in that late 2000s era. Chris Sabin was fun.
Like Chris Sabin, just like anytime there was an Ultimate X match and Sabin is in it, you're like, yeah, whatever, I'm watching this.
That's pretty much how I felt, but not to like just jump all over the place. Those are a couple moments that I really enjoyed. I just thought when I look back now, TNA had, oh my God, I loved Bobby Roode in that era.
Beer Money was so fucking good.
God, Beer Money was so good. Yeah, dude. Like
I'll
TNA
take a dream tag team, a dream tag team match, like Beer Money against the APA. Oh, that would have been good.
Yeah, that would have been. That could main event, in your house 7 or something like that. But so we're gonna eventually, as time goes on, we're gonna do like in between stuff, and maybe like if there's not a live Raw or a live Nitro on that time, maybe we'll cover a TNA pay-per-view. I would like to do that because I could pretty much find all of them on YouTube now. So I'm excited for that.
And there's some on Pluto TV too, I think, because they have they have an actual TNA channel. Wow. So every now and then I'll check it and see what they got going on. If they got a pay-per-view from like 06, 07, 08, I'm like, all right, I'm just going to sit here and watch this because it's going to be great no matter what.
I used to love how their stage was set up, before Dynamite ripped it off. I used to love that setup, that stage that they always had.
I thought
was really cool.
A lot of the WCW guys who kind of faltered when they hit WWE after the buyout, or just maybe like didn't want to go over, like Sting didn't want to go over when they hit TNA, man, they were just hitting their stride. You got Jarrett, Sting, Scotty Steiner when he got there, even like Kevin Nash. Like these guys were like, it almost seemed like they got like a whole new lease on life when they were in TNA.
Yeah, I wish guys like DDP would have went there. I wish he would have went there instead of WWE. I just, I'm happy Booker T ended up in WWE because his talent was just too great to ignore. I think
Booker left WWE, went to TNA, did a stint there, and then came back. So
right. So it's like I wish after the end, I wish DDP would have ended up in TNA because I felt like he and like Jarrett and guys like that could have had just incredible feuds for a while. So yeah, I think TNA is one of those things where we all look back now and go, man, I really wish I would have watched it and appreciated it back then.
Like they were a legitimate alternative to what
they were
to what they're using, like a legitimate alternative. They weren't trying to rip anything off.
No,
I mean, well, they didn't start doing that until Bischoff and Hogan got there.
Yeah,
in 2010.
And I'm going to say 2 things that I really enjoyed about TNA. I enjoyed Jeff Jarrett, and I enjoyed Aces and Eights. Just saying. Aces and Eights was when it was done well, it was done well. Aces and Eights.
I will raise you the Main Event Mafia.
Oh God, Main Event Mafia was really. I wish WWE would do something like that.
Especially the episode of TNA when they took over the show and Nash and Booker T were on commentary, and Scott Steiner was doing the announcing, was doing the ring announcer duties.
Yeah.
And he said that the Dudley Boys were hailing from, or Team 3 Days, they were over there. They were hailing from Dunkin' Donuts from the state of obesity.
Mm-hmm.
And Booker T got in a ring, was beating people up, but was still on the microphone calling everything he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Just really good stuff they were doing over there.
Yeah. I'm excited to watch
TNA. And it looks as though they're getting a little bit of a resurgence. They're getting a little bit of that edge back, and I'm here for it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll always support TNA.
It'd be nice if they got it, like you always say. It'd be nice if they got a legitimate television
They just need
deal.
a TV deal. Put them on CW. Make a deal with them on CW.
All right. I'm with you. All right, so let's get started here. We are covering the Monday Night Wars Raw versus Nitro from May 13th, 1996. We're going to start with the World Wrestling Federation. Your hosts are Vince McMahon and Jerry the King Lawler. This is, as usual, a taped show from Sioux City, Iowa. We have just a banger to kick things off here. Speaking of tag team championships, Ahmed Johnson versus Zip of the Body Donnas. So, using one half of the tag champions as jobbers on TV. Why not, right?
Why not?
Actually, I saw this. The Observer at this point notes that the WWF at this point hired Freddie Joe Floyd, TL Hopper, Sal Sincere to fill exactly this sort of position. So at least they were definitely aware of the problem. Mm-hmm. This was just
old Freddie Joe Floyd. Good old Tracy Smothers himself.
And there's like a point in this match where Sonny interrupts an Ahmed promo before the match, tries to rub baby oil on him. I think he's at that point even already at maximum saturation, per square inch of his body.
Yeah, it's weird that oil isn't going to go well with all the sweat coming off of him.
Oh God, it was awful. Ahmed finishes Skip with a power bomb at just about 2.5 minutes.
Wait a minute, you said Skip. I thought he was facing Zip.
Zip, I'm sorry.
No. You were right. It's because
I know. I thought maybe in the beginning I said it was that. Okay.
Yeah, they switched places in the middle of the match, and the referee couldn't tell the difference between Chris Candido and the Doctor of Desire, Tom Pritchard.
Yes,
that would be like if Dean and I were in a tag team, and I went out of the ring, and he went in my place. We look similar, but we don't fucking look alike. We just have the same features. Although Ahmed Johnson did have a pretty good line. He was talking to Sonny.
Of Coke?
Yeah, well, that too. When he said, my mama always told me to take the trash out, not bring it in. And then he walked away from her.
That's a good line.
That was good. I don't know who wrote that, but it's probably Bruce.
Probably Bruce. Meanwhile, the Ultimate Warrior wants you to come learn the principles of Destrucity, whatever. Oh my God. At the Warrior University, kind of like Scientology, but slightly less insane, definitely more racist.
Slightly less chaotic. Yeah.
Yeah. God, I can't believe they still promote Warrior. Such a scumbag. We get to the next match. The man they call.
The funny thing is that could have been like a really good gimmick for him. If they leaned into like he's doing a university, but he's just awful at it. It's he's just bad. Like his charge keep losing. He's like, oh, what is wrong with you? Because he's expecting someone like Mantar or TL Hopper to be able to do what he can do.
That's right. Well, what can he do?
Yeah.
Vader versus Duke the Dumpster Droze. Whatever, the Vader bomb. This match somehow goes almost 8 minutes. Why? Why is Vader selling anything in this match, dude? Why?
That's why, he was selling, and not only was he selling, but he had his working boots on for Duke Droese.
Yeah.
Why are you trying to make Duke Droese? I mean, I get it. Vader's a professional. He understands what this business is. You can't just Hogan everybody when you're in a match. You gotta give the fans a little something. Yeah. But this is the guy that you're gonna. Yeah. This is the guy you're gonna give a little bit of a rub to. This guy and Cornette goes, he's a dumpster. He's the dumpster. Now he's actually trash. It's like, boy, Cornette predicted that shit 30 years later, didn't he?
Oh my gosh, he did. You're so right. Like,
I
but also,
they were on commentary, and Cornette or King was over to Cornette and goes, "Hey, do you ever feel like you're the bread in an idiot sandwich?"
oh my
Like
God.
this is in between them.
There was a point, and I was doing some reading, like this past week, like the week leading up to this Raw, Vader was doing jobs to the Warrior all week at house shows, and then like it's like you wonder why his top story against Shawn didn't sell, it didn't draw. Like you wonder why. Just bad booking with Vader from start to finish with that guy. I mean, he had a match. You know, he had a pay-per-view named after him, and he wasn't even on the show. So we get to Undertaker and Paul Bearer. They join us with their gold casket for Goldust. Like, I'm thinking at this point, man, what a lazy feud this is, and I'm going to get into that. Like, you'd think they'd have at least, you know, Goldust steal the urn and melt it down into an Oscar statue or something, and Goldust tries to
We
seduce
just
him.
did that. We just did the urn meltdown shit with the chain, and that got zero pop, zero reaction from the crowd. So they're like, all right, let's not do this again.
Goldust tries to seduce him, and Taker throttles him, but Mankind pops in and lays out Taker again with the mandible claw, which kind of, you know, foreshadowed the finish of the casket match on that pay-per-view. And then Goldust goes way over the top. I can't even believe Taker approved this, but he straddles the Undertaker and licks him, which results in a massive, you know, jump cut to Undertaker sitting up and chasing him off. And this was a time right after this, Vince started getting massive heat from the USA Network and sponsors over the Goldust stuff. And I thought that was rightly so. I felt like at that time, dude, why is Goldust straddling and licking the Undertaker?
Like in 96, it's like, yeah, this would have been kind of weird. Like now in 2025, I look at that and I'm like, this is such good fucking mind games.
Yes.
And then like Mankind gets added to it. It's like, and I was watching this earlier and I'm like, oh my God, how much more like nonsense can you throw in here that somehow works?
Mm-hmm.
Like Mankind just shows up and the mandible claw and Goldust is like, ooh, dead man.
Yeah.
I've never danced with the devil in the pale moonlight, but I'll try anything once. Like I'm sitting here, I'm like, man, this is good. This promo is good, and I don't know why. On paper, it shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be, right.
But I feel like that's been Goldust's like entire first run.
Absolutely agree.
Because when you look at this shit with
he
him,
had some really good opponents.
Because like you look at this shit with him and Piper, you know, lead up to WrestleMania. As I said, there's no way that should have worked, but somehow, despite it all, it worked. His feud with Razor Ramon, and then he beat Razor for the Intercontinental title. That nobody saw that shit coming.
Right. I mean, he had a stuff with Brett, Shawn. Like again, it's not for a lack of trying. From WWF standpoint.
And then like just as like Goldust, as the Goldust character was really taking off and like getting some good reactions, and you know people wanted to see it every week, they go and pull the artist formerly known as Goldust nonsense, and he was doing like Dusty Dust and you know coming out as himself and shit. It's like what did you do? Like, and then I remember Russo.
So next match, Justin Hawk Bradshaw versus Aldo Montoya. WWF or Vince promotes that there's a big house show coming up at Madison Square Garden the upcoming weekend, featuring the last appearances of Diesel and Razor Ramon. And I wonder if anything big will happen that night.
Probably not. It's a house show, Chris. Nothing happens at house shows.
Yeah, nothing happens at house shows. No. I mean, look, we doubt anything happens, but you never know.
What's the name of Goldust finisher? What was he calling that?
Oh, was it the curtain call?
Curtain call?
That's it.
Yeah, curtain call. We'll probably see Goldust do the curtain call at Madison Square Garden if he has a match.
Yeah, or some sort of it.
So I think we can guarantee that a curtain call is going to happen.
That's correct. Yeah.
And, so you know, you love to see it.
You love to see it. The best thing about this match, though, was the clothesline from hell, finishing him at 3 minutes and 42 seconds.
I could have sworn he died
after
he got hit.
I rewound it like 3-4 times. I'm like, dear God.
Like even in '96, Bradshaw was just laying in fucking potatoes for no reason other than Stan Hansen told me to do this.
Dude, I can just imagine in like the early 80s, Bradshaw, if he was around, going into Harley Race's locker room. What's your finish, kid? Well, Mr. Racer, I call it the clothesline from hell. I go full speed off the rope, and I just make it look like I'm going to take your head off, basically. You
mean like Big Stanley Hansen used to do?
Just like I did with his kid. I'll move. Oh, that's great.
I could watch that clip of 6 Feet Under with
Taker,
with Darky Mark and Midian and not Midian Mark, just talking about Harley Race for fucking hours.
I could too. Yep, me too. Meanwhile, in Kuwait, Vince is still trying to sell the story of the peace-loving, innocent Kuwaitis who yearn for freedom 5 years after the Gulf War. Anyway, Bulldog attacks Shawn Michaels on the beach, and Ahmed wins a tournament. Yay! So let's get to the main event.
Well, your excitement, Chris. This is
I know. I gotta make sure nobody sees my shorts. Main event here: Shawn Michaels versus Triple H. This is the first time that they're going up against each other one-on-one.
Monumental.
This, of course, is the last time Triple H would get anywhere near the main event for a long time. I don't know if it's something that happens at a house show or anything, but nonetheless,
it's weird because he's always like a good guy, and he's always straight to the point, and he never rubs anybody the wrong way, and I don't know, for some reason they just decided you're gonna eat shit and you're gonna like it.
I agree. If we go down the line here, Sean's selling like a machine in this match for Triple H.
For his best friend.
Yeah, it's his best friend, so it works. Later on in the match, Triple H tries to pedigree. Sean catapults him into the corner and makes the comeback. Flying elbow gets a close 2 count. Hunter gets up, actually tries a power bomb, which Sean reverses into a Hurricane Rana. Hunter turns that into a sunset flip for 2. Vince trying to call that sequence was the most brain-melting, stupid thing I'll see and hear this week. Sean backdrops out of another pedigree and finishes with a super kick at 19 minutes. Bro, this was like a 5-star Raw match in that era. This was great.
And like the best thing about this is the first chapter.
It was,
of the HBK Triple H feud, so to speak.
Yeah.
Like this is the preamble. This is the beginning of it, and it's
prequel to the prequel,
and it's immediately like fucking gold. It's immediately it immediately fucking jumps up.
You could just tell right there the chemistry's insane between these two. So basically, everyone skip everything in the entire show. Just watch the main event. Pay-per-view style main event for sure. It was just so good. All right, so let's go over to WCW Monday Nitro, where the big boys play. We are live from Nashville, Tennessee. Lex Luger is camped out in the building so that he doesn't miss his title shot tonight.
What a goofy fucking video that was. He's reading by flashlight, and he's got bananas sitting on top of a cooler, but they're not inside. He's got food on the outside of the cooler, and it's not on the inside of the cooler.
Yeah, your normal hosts here, Eric Bischoff, Bobby the Brain Heenan, and Steve Mongo McMichael. We're almost done with Mongo, but that's from a announcer standpoint. We still got to see a lot more of him in the ring. The opening match here is the Steiner Brothers versus Public Enemy. The crowd was banging hot for this opener. We get a belly-to-belly later on, puts Rocco on the floor as Bischoff announces that Nitro will go to 2 hours beginning May 27th. I wonder what happens on May 27th. Nothing. The same thing that happens at MSG. Nothing. But, man, they better have one hell of an angle to kick that show off. Frankensteiner finishes Rocco Rock at 6 minutes and 55 seconds. This was pretty decent. This was by far George, the best Public Enemy match that they ever had, I think, and that's all credit to the Steiners because
100% of the credit goes to the Steiners.
Yeah, because I'm watching. If there's one tag team that Public Enemy did not have any chemistry with, it's Harlem Heat, and we'll see that later on in '96. Public Enemy and Harlem Heat just did not gel in the ring at all.
There's a spot in this match where Rocco Rock goes to the top rope, and I think it was Scott. It was one of them. They hit the top rope for him to fall, and there was like a 1.5-second delay, and then he was just like, "Oh!" and then crotched himself on the top rope. I'm like, man, like you're tight, like you can't even do that right. Like this is all Scott and Rick.
Yeah. Scott and Rick. I mean, these guys were just so good at this time here, and again, I wish they were treated better. I wish they were just they should have been treated like legends.
To be fair, this was also Public Enemy's second match of the night because they had a dark match against the Nasties. So
that's kind of a.
I'm looking at the dark matches, and we got hosed.
Of course, we always do. Next match here: Chris Benoit versus Dave Taylor. Bischoff hypes up DDP's return to a mysterious benefactor who was obviously supposed to be Ted DiBiase before they came up with the NWO role for him instead. We get through the match here. These two just don't gel that well. I mean, Benoit is just look, I don't care what you think about him. Obviously, we all know he's a piece of shit and garbage, but he was a master in the ring. And he could work with pretty much anyone and make it interesting because he was just so damn aggressive. He gets a dragon suplex victory here at 4 minutes and 15 seconds. It was just it was awesome. I mean, I love watching Benoit. This was a bit of a styles clash, like I said. Taylor trying to do some kind of strong style stiff match, and Benoit was trying to get over the mat-based wrestling match. But I mean, it wasn't great. But again, I hate saying it, but every time I got to watch Chris Benoit in the ring, I liked it.
Yeah. And they mentioned something pretty interesting during this match too, as Benoit's coming out. Like Bischoff kind of casually mentions the end of the Horsemen.
Yeah, that's right.
Like we didn't get anything. Like it was just like, the Horsemen were a major part of Nitro since the inception of Nitro. Yeah. And we just get this casual kind of message. Oh, like Benoit is blaming Arn for the end of the Horsemen. It's on. I'm sitting here. I'm like, wait a minute. When did the Horsemen end?
Yeah.
Like,
I don't even know.
They're blaming
when
Brian
was that
Pillman, they're blaming Kevin Sullivan. It's like, oh, so I guess we're just done with that then?
Apparently.
Because Arn's still hanging around with Rick, so I assume that the Horsemen were still a thing. It's just that the other two members of the Horsemen were Elizabeth and Woman.
Oh my gosh. Meanwhile, Savage is barred from the building and unable to penetrate Doug Dillinger's wall of security. Mongo butts in, lets Savage know that he'll deal with the situation himself. At this point in The Observer, there was Dave Meltzer had a running theory at the time that it would be the Outsiders coming in right around here. But this week in The Observer of this show, he amends it to say a team of ninjas, which will feature Brian Carr. So you're getting closer there, Dave.
I'm sorry, a what?
Team of ninjas.
I don't think. Now, listen, we've gotten a lot of shit from WCW.
Yep.
I don't recall any ninjas.
Unless it's Pat Tanaka with the Goldberg theme, I don't know. Then.
Oh well, then yeah. I mean, we haven't gotten Kaz Hayashi yet. Maybe Sonny Ono's bringing. Maybe Sonny Ono is going to bring some over from New Japan. But,
yeah.
Or maybe Meltzer doesn't know what luchadors are, and he just called them ninjas.
You're right. Next match: Ric Flair versus VK Wall Street. Weird.
His tights look so fucking juvenile.
May I just ask you? Maybe I'm weird, which we all probably know this. Did you notice that
is what you are?
Did you ever? Hey, right. Did you ever realize or notice during VK Wall Street's matches with those tights, he's constantly like grabbing them. He's constantly like pushing them down and like rubbing his hands on it. It's like, dude, what is wrong?
Like, is it like, does he have like a touch thing? Like that's his kind of autism where he's like,
maybe
I just like to touch fabrics. I gotta touch.
Maybe
I gotta do a thing. Maybe like that's his thing, or maybe the tights were just so uncomfortable, and that's just.
I think it might have been that
dealing with it because when you look at him, you're like, this is terrible.
Yeah,
like even like the design, like the dollar sign on his back with like Wall Street in the middle. It's like, what clip art did you get that from? Get your money back.
It's whatever.
And this match was like not even good, honestly.
No, we get near the end here. Wall Street clotheslines Flair to the floor, but charges and accidentally knees the post instead of Flair. If he was wearing knee pads, he'd be fine, but he's not, and he looks weird without them, so fuck him. Figure 4 finishes VK at 7 minutes and 51 seconds. Rotunda was a good worker. I always liked Mike Rotunda. I always thought he was a good worker.
I just wish they could have found something for him.
Yeah, I agree.
Not this petty Vince McMahon gimmick. Like just like you couldn't.
Yeah,
like you had nothing. You have to go, but not only that, you have to go back to another like money type gimmick. Oh, this is a Wall Street investor by day, but by night he settles problems with his fist.
Meanwhile, Flair gives his victory speech from his table, which now apparently follows him from show to show now.
You love it.
And he's sick of hearing about Mongo and his wife, like we all are, because, he's the real quarterback.
It's the worst comparison I've ever heard. It's like, yeah, you're a defensive lineman. I'm Joe Namath. I'm sitting here, I'm like, Nate, that's not a fucking compliment.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you've won once? That's not. You're a 14-time champion, right?
That's right.
Johnny Unitas. That's a haircut you can set your watch to.
Oh gosh. Let's get to the main event. WCW World Title. I mean, unfortunately, we're getting to the main event. The Giant versus Lex Luger. We get to the beginning of this, man. Luger tries to overpower him, but walks into a clothesline and gets shoved to the floor. Back in the ring, Giant pounds away in the corner, but Luger comes back with a stainless steel forearm of. Oh wait, never mind. Giant no sells it back to the floor, and Giant tosses him back in again like the proverbial sack of garbage. While Flair enjoys his expensive dinner with Savage's money, Luger keeps slugging away and finally knocks the Giant to the floor. But Giant is so annoyed by this that he chokeslams Lex through Flair's table for the disqualification at 4 minutes and 15 seconds. So I guess that's another babyface turn for Lex Luger. I mean, I got to say, dude, the storylines for this show have been going off the rails in the past, 2 months, to say the least. So this was a horrible main event.
I don't understand what's happening anymore.
That's usually I can pretty much follow what's going on in Nitro because, as wrestling fans, we can just deal with the illogical. Mm-hmm. This is in another level. I don't know what they're trying to do here. What's the goal? What's the end game? I mean, you had a nice chokeslam to finish a show, but again, what the hell is going on with anything here? Was it a week off for Kevin Sullivan and the creative crew?
I don't know, because considering the way this shit's been booked since the inception, I don't know what's a night off and what's a night on anymore. So
I know,
this. It's fucking weird.
It is. It very much so is. Yeah.
I don't know anything I don't understand anything that's even going on.
I agree. Well, that's the end of Monday Nitro. Look, I think they were both really poor shows, but I'm going to give Raw the win because of the main event. That HBK versus Triple H match was terrific. I don't really think there's anything WCW could have done to top that at all or even come close. So,
well, for a dark match, I had Eddie Guerrero versus Steve Regal. That might have been fucking good.
That would have been phenomenal, actually.
Like I said, we got robbed. We also had Alex Wright and Disco Inferno.
Das Wunderkid. This in the ratings, if we go into this night, Raw dominated again. This time a 3.5 to a 2.3. Remember last week, Raw dominated 4.1 to a 1.9. So they continue the nice little ratings kick in the ass here. It's short-lived because Nitro actually takes the next 3 weeks, but we'll get into that when we get there, and we'll go over what those ratings were. But George, I think we both can agree Monday Night Raw, a taped Monday Night Raw takes this one
easily,
which is crazy because it's another week of Nitro without Hogan. And usually when there's no Hogan, it's a better show. This was a pure stinker.
Well, the thing is, most of the time Raw is a stinker show. So there's not exactly strong competition they're going up against.
Right. Totally agree. But yeah, so congratulations, Raw. You take another one. You don't take many, but this is one that you get. We'll see how you guys move forward here. All right. So if you guys are watching on YouTube, thank you so very much. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for when we go live again. If you're watching on Facebook or Twitter or X, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. George, I know you guys just had a show in the Multiverse Movie Podcast that dropped actually today.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys got coming up? What was the show you dropped today, and what do you got coming up next week?
We did the episode that dropped today was the 1991 sequel to Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze. We did that. We had our good buddy Scott on for that. Scott is the resident turtle expert. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you know, how many movies you've seen, how many cartoons. You don't know nearly as much about the turtles as Scott Boyd ever at all. I'll defend him because he's humble. He'll never admit it. But he is the king when it comes to the show. So we had him on. Always a good conversation there. Scott knows a lot of the ins and outs. So as I go through with my review, if there's something I miss or I don't bring up, he's right there. He'd be like, oh, but don't forget the other little nuance things that I may have missed. So that's always a fun episode. But this week coming up, we're going back, and it's been a while since we've gone back to this one, but we're going into the DC animated universe, and we're doing Batman Under the Red Hood.
Oh, that's amazing.
Shit. When you talk about, we could talk about how poor DC is on film till the cows come home, but when they were doing everything with the DCAU, that was some of the best work.
I agree.
When it comes to even just live action and animated, like these movies that they were doing, Under the Red Hood, Flashpoint Paradox, movies like that, these were better than most of the fucking live action movies.
Totally agree.
Not just the DC ones, the fucking Marvel ones too. Because as much as I love Infinity War, as much as I love Endgame, I will watch the DCAU any fucking time, anywhere.
I'm with you. Totally with you on that. Yeah, that's gonna be great. I can't wait to listen to that one.
I think that's up on Max too, Chris. If you want to watch that and just kind of give yourself a refresher before you listen to us prattle on about shit and eventually get into a movie, then prattle back on about more shit.
That's okay, because that's what I like the best.
You're here for you're here for the off the cuffery.
No, the off the cuffery is what makes it so special. But yeah, I'm excited for that. Cannot wait. As always, guys, the Multiverse Movie Podcast. Get that wherever you listen to your podcasts. All right, so thank you guys so very much for checking us out. That's George Rogers. I'm Christy Francesco, and we'll catch you guys here down the road. Have a great one, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.